Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. There is a lot of changes and programs, things happening within the VA. The VASP, V-A-S-P, the VASP program is a newer program that came out less than a year ago. And I wanted to share it with you because this is one of those, we'll call it a hidden program that many veterans are not aware of that exists. And it could potentially save you big. Now, let's jump into it here. Before I do, though, I want to throw out a very special thank you to Aaron Kennedy. V2C is the ending part there. But Aaron, thank you so much for your super comment, super chat. I truly appreciate your support. Aaron Kennedy, thank you again. I really do appreciate you. All right, so VASP, V-A-S-P, is the Veterans Affairs Servicing Purchase. Veterans Affairs Servicing Purchase. This is a program that is for veterans in need. And I will dive through this, share the information with you. And before we do, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. All of that stuff helps to expand the reach, which is really what we're trying to do, is eliminate the I wish I would have knowns, right? Now, this program, I'm going to give you the little snippet here. If you're a veteran or active duty service member with a VA guaranteed home loan, and you're facing foreclosure, the Veterans Affairs Servicing Purchase Program may help you keep your home. Find out if VASP is right for you. That's the opening from the VA on their website. So this is regarding your home loan. If in the event you don't qualify for this, have a conversation with David over at VA Housing Education. We've had him on the channel a bunch of times. We've had him on our joint channel at Veterans Daily. Solid guy. He's a veteran. He will tell you how it is. He will explain to you your options and help you out. So David Piatek over at VA Housing Education. I'll drop his information in the comments or in the description for you. But solid guy, and he can definitely help answer any VA or any mortgage questions for that matter, but he is the VA expert. All right, so let's jump back into VASP here and explain to you how this works. So the first question on here is, how does VASP program work? Through this program, we, which is the VA, purchase the modified loan from your loan servicer. Your loan servicer, by the way, is where you make your payment. In a lot of cases, you may purchase your home, you may close your loan or refinance your home and close your loan with one lender. Then within a few months, it's sold off to another lender who then becomes your servicer. A modified loan means that your servicer changed the loan terms to make it easier for you to repay what you own. So, a loan modification, anybody who lived through the fiasco of 07, 08, there was a lot of loan modifications going on. Anyway, so moving on. When will the VASP program be available? All right, so I told you it came out less than a year ago. The VASP program is available now. Loan servicers have been able to send VASP submissions to the VA since May 31st of 2024. The VA urges servicers to report to the VA any technical challenges that cause extended timeframes in implementation. The VA wants to be sure that these challenges don't prevent you from getting the help from this program. Now, here's my 2 cents on that real quick is not every lender out there is super aware of all the nuance of VA. It's kind of a geographic thing, right? If there's not a lot of veterans in a specific area and it's a smaller local lender who just doesn't do a lot of VA stuff, it's going to be, something you might have to bring up to them and then have them look into it. All right, so what if your servicer isn't ready to offer VASP yet? So what does this imply? This implies that the VASP program needs to be okayed to be initiated by your servicer. All right. So if your servicer isn't ready to offer VASP, but you need help right away to avoid foreclosure, your servicer may be able to offer you a special forbearance or other options for keeping your home. A special forbearance is a temporary break from mortgage payments. Temporary options like this can help you keep your home while your servicer implements VASP. Now, I will tell you that this is why VASP came to be, is because people were taking what was called the COVID forbearance, basically allowed to skip X number of payments. And then the VA was supposed to allow for these VA home loans to have the missed payments added to the end of the loan. So your 30-year loan, you took a year forbearance. Well, now you're going to tack a year on at the end. And really, it's a 31-year, but you missed 1 year of payments. And that worked out for a little bit. But then the VA pulled the rug out from under the program and left a bunch of people hanging. And that is what brought VASP to be. This is the corrective action. Now, I'm not going to beat up on the VA too much, but this was an afterthought after a bunch of backlash and problems and foreclosures and a bunch of issues. Finally, the VA stepped up to figure this thing out when, quite frankly, the writing was on the wall when you were getting ready to pull the plug. You should have worked on this earlier. And so here we are. So in any case, this was about almost a year ago when this came out. And it was about 5 or 6 months after they pulled the rug. All right. At the end of the special forbearance, your servicer must approve the loan for another option to avoid foreclosure, like a loan modification or repayment plan, or you'll need to start paying your loan payments. Your servicer won't automatically add outstanding loan payments to the end of your loan. Contact the VA if your servicer is proceeding with foreclosure without exploring other temporary options. You can call the VA at 877-827-3702, and I'll try to make sure I get that in the description as well. They are there Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So is VASP an option for you? Well, let's look here. Now, by the way, it hasn't said it yet, but a VASP option would result in a 2.5% interest rate with your payments. From everything I've seen, payments going to the VA because the VA purchases your loan. All right, so 2.5% is pretty amazing. So especially in today's world. So is the VASP program an option for you? VASP is a last resort option for keeping your home when your loan servicer has determined that no other option can help you avoid foreclosure. You may hear your servicer refer to VASP as the last option in the home retention waterfall. The other options that the servicer will consider first for you are repayment plans, special forbearances, or loan modifications. If none of these will work for your situation, then they'll review the required criteria for VASP to determine if your loan qualifies. Tell your servicer right away if your financial situation changes. So here's the thing. A loan modification is changing the terms of the loan, but they can't give you an interest rate that's way below market. Typically, those kind of days have gone. And, they may do, for example, a loan modification where your payments are actually higher, but they've wiped out any past due payments. But if your financial situation puts you in a very high debt to income ratio, then that's not really going to be an option for you. And so they might move to the next, and then next thing you know, you're talking about VASP, the VASP program. So there's a notation here, and it says VASP isn't a program that you apply for yourself. If your servicer, the person you're making the payments to, determines that VASP is the only option for keeping your home and you want to participate, they will submit your information to VA. So, again, not every lender out there is super aware, I'm sure. So you need to be aware so that way you can tell your servicer, hey, look, the VA has a program, it's called VASP. That might be the best route for me given my current financial situation and so forth. All right. Can I choose which option I want to use to keep my home? You'll need to work together with your servicer to determine what your options are and which options are right for your situation. Your servicer will ask you a series of questions. Based on your answers, they'll tell you what options you have for keeping your home. If you choose not to use any of the available options for keeping your home, your servicer will review with you the alternatives to foreclosure. Another question here, and there's some bullet points after this one. This question is, what criteria determines if my loan qualifies for VASP? This one's a good one. All right, so your loan is 3 to 60 months, 3 to 60 months delinquent. You are 3 to 60 months late paying back the loan when your servicer submits it into the program. The owner of the property or immediate family member is living on the property. You aren't in active bankruptcy, and neither is anyone else listed on the loan. When your servicer submits the loan into the program, we'll accept a dismissed or discharged bankruptcy, which would be under either Chapter 13 or Chapter 7. You've resolved the reason you were in default and can start making monthly mortgage payments again. So this one sounds interesting, and you got to give a little context to it. So the problem is maybe you lost your job during COVID or whatever, right? It's been a long time. You lost your job, something happened, and it took you a while to get back on your feet. In the meantime, you stopped making your mortgage payments. Now you're behind, we'll just say, $12,000. So now you're behind $12,000 and you got a new job and you started working and everything's great. Well, guess what? You don't have $12,000 in the bank to bring your loan current. Your servicer says, hey, look, you need to bring your loan current. And you say, I can't. I don't have $12,000. Then they're going to say, well, how about if we do a repayment plan? And instead of you making a $2,000 a month payment, you have to make a $3,000 a month payment for the next year to make up that $12,000. And then you say, hey, look, I don't make that much money. This is my job. This is how much money I make. I could barely afford the $2,000 that I was originally paying. Then that goes back and forth. And then maybe at that point, you might get down to the VASP program as an option in which your loan can then be resolved. So, but you have resolved the reason you were in default, which was you lost your job. You got a new job. All right, moving on. You and anyone else listed on the loan have a stable and reliable source of income. Your VA guaranteed loan is in the first lien position, which is typically the case, and the property doesn't have any liens or judgments that would risk our first lien position. You've made at least 6 months payments since You've made at least 6 monthly payments since the start of the loan. All right. So in other words, you can't have bought a house, then made one payment, then went into default, right? They want you to at least have 6 months under your belt before you went into default. You're the legal owner of record on the property at this time. You and all others listed on the loan agree to the terms of the VASP bonification. All right, what if my loan doesn't meet the criteria for VASP? If your loan does not meet the criteria for VASP or other options for keeping your home, you may want to consider alternatives to foreclosure. You could sell your home through a private sale, or that your servicer might agree to a short sale or deed in lieu of foreclosure. So a short sale is when you sell your house for less than what you owe. So in some cases, markets do this. Maybe you bought your house at a peak or refinanced it and now you owe more, right? Then the value drops down. Let's just use easy numbers. You owe $700,000 on your house and it's worth $600,000. Well, you're short $100,000. You could talk to your lender, your servicer, and say, hey, look, I need to sell my house. I can only maybe sell it for $600,000. I owe $700,000. Will you accept that as payment in full? Their alternatives are, look, you could spend money and foreclose and get lawyers involved and drag it out and then get the property back, then clean it up, then put it on the market, then sell it, and might even get less than $600,000. So most often if you're already in a foreclosure situation, the lender or servicer will agree to a short sale. Now, if you have $400,000 sitting in the bank, they probably won't. But if you do, well, you probably want to be in this situation in that case. So, but you get what I'm saying. So they're going to take a look at your financials and then qualify you for the short sale. Deed in lieu of foreclosure is basically expedited foreclosure, eliminating a lot of the legal requirements from the servicer. So they save money and you're not really getting the full negative impact on your credit. Now, work with a financial advisor, work with your credit experts out there, get all that information directly from them. This is just simply my understanding of how that would work. All right, so for more information and details, you can always call the VA and speak to a loan technician there at 877-827-3702. One more question here, and then we'll wrap it up. How can I learn more about the program? Well, you can contact your loan servicer, the person you're making the payments to, where you get your statements and you mail in your payment or whatever you do. Contact them. If you're having trouble making payments, they'll determine if VASP is or any other options will help. If you're not sure who your servicer is, check your most recent mortgage bill. If you can't find their contact information, call the VA at 877-827-3702 and select number 5. They are there Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. With that, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.